Our guest today is Dr. Neha Sangwan, founder and CEO of Intuitive Intelligence, a team of 60 healthcare professionals, creator of the I5 experience, a global citizen, and an internal medicine doctor. You started off as an engineer in undergrad. Then you went to medical school, became a traditional internal medicine doctor.
Yep.
And at some point, as you started learning from your patients, it looked like you felt you needed to create a corporation, be an entrepreneur, and reach a different level of scale. What is this I5 experience that you created?
Well, the I5 experience, some of it seems actually quite common sense, but really the I5 experience is about connecting different parts of you and of your life. So it's about connecting what you think to what you say, to how you feel, to what you eat, and I tag the foot and say, to what you do and create in the world. A practical example would be something like around 3 o'clock, you work in a high-tech, high-stress environment, right?
Sure, yeah.
So do you ever have an afternoon energy dip?
Every day.
2 or 3 o'clock, yeah. Right? So that's what you feel. So some people's strategy for that would be to then head and get a chocolate chip cookie and a coffee,
yeah.
Right? So now they're on a sugar buzz and a caffeine buzz. Yeah. That's at 2, 3 o'clock. At your 4:30 meeting is when your sugar levels are dropping and you're now feeling a little anxious and irritable. So that might be the time you say, snap at a coworker, yeah. Right? That's the say part of this. And let's say your day didn't go so well. Now you're driving home and you're thinking, wow, this was a pretty bad day. I think I'm going to skip the gym. And that's the do piece.
Yeah. If you ignore all of this, you go further and further downhill from a health perspective,
yep.
And then you fall sick.
I think there is a spectrum, right? So as you described it, if death and dying is over here,
yeah.
Right, and optimal wellness is over here, I think most people are about right here, right? And so they get sick, and I used to take care of them and bring them here, and now I say, why don't I just take them to a much higher level of wellness? We each have a unique physical response to different types of stress.
Interesting.
Right? So let's say I feel stressed when I see my boss, okay, walking down the hallway. I
yes.
get performance anxiety,
yeah.
Right? For me, that would show up as throat constriction. For someone else, it'll show up as their stomach turning or sweating. The first thing people need to know is, yeah. What is your unique response that's giving you an internal signal telling you you're moving out of your comfort zone into the uncomfortable zone?
Yes.
When you know that, then there's techniques like even a simple, you're a yoga teacher, right?
I am. Yes, yeah. I know
so breathing.
Okay.
It sounds simple,
yeah.
Right?
It's on KGO Channel 7, Neha, sometime back, when you talked of deep breathing and the relaxation response. I think it was a show on stress.
Your lungs actually take up a large portion of your chest. But normally as we go through our day and we're answering our cell phone and we're all talking, hey Cheryl, do you want to go out to dinner? I'm using about this much of my lungs.
Oh, right.
And so I'm actually not using the full capacity of my lungs. If I were to actually take a deep breath, not only is the best oxygen exchange going to occur at the bases, at the bottom of my lungs, but when I take a deep breath, I have something called a diaphragm, which is a little muscle here that looks like an umbrella shape, and it actually flattens and triggers your relaxation nerve called the vagus nerve. So when you do it 3 times, you actually physiologically have relaxed yourself.
I think you told me that you went to Saudi Arabia and spoke at a conference and started working with a group of doctors and physicians there.
Yes, it's
true. So tell me about the Saudi experience.
You know, the truth was, it was one of the highlights of my life.
How so?
I actually covered my head with a scarf. No one asked me to do it. I did it because I had read about the culture and researched it. And what I found was, just because I put that scarf on my head when I came off the plane and interacted with people, they were so grateful. And what they said was, you know, just that you showed us that gesture, that you came here and you respect the culture from which we come, tells us that it's not our job to change you. It's our job to respect the culture from which you come.
Here you are with a group of Saudi doctors and nurses, as well as people from the nearby countries.
Yeah.
And you're again going back and talking to them about the same I5 principles: think, say, feel, eat, do.
You got it.
And the same principles that applied in a software company in Silicon Valley was equally applicable, and they received the message just as well.
Absolutely.
You are truly a global citizen. You spent the early years of your life in Africa, and then you were born to Indian parents, and you were raised in America, and you spent this time in Australia where you had this little, epiphany, and you spent some time teaching in Saudi Arabia. How have all of these cultural influences created Dr. Neha Sangwan?
I really believe that my work in the world, because of that unique background across cultures and countries, and being the daughter of immigrants, I think all of that has taught me on a global scale that it's all connected. You know, we're talking about it's all connected here.
Absolutely.
And I also feel that my mission in the world is to help bridge people and ideas and health, you know, whether it's to the corporate world or to the individual. These invisible bridges, I think, started with my upbringing.